Welcome one, welcome all to the newest episode of Ready, Set, Rewatch. We're boldly going to continue our trek into watching Star Trek The Original Series. I'm Skylar, and this is my best friend Daniel. You know Daniel. Hello, Daniel. How you doing, Daniel?
I'm doing pretty okay.
That's all we ask of you, my friend. Now, are you ready to talk about Star Trek? Star Trek does a bit of a Vietnam, and Star Trek goes to what the fuck is the second one?
It's a good question.
There's big guys,
There's a,
guys in orbs and brain, and what does it mean to have
ball
a
guys.
body?
Yeah.
But you know what? Let's start with the Vietnam one. That sounds easier. Let's jump into whatever this one was called, A Private Little War.
My Little Private War.
Ooh. Oh no.
Hey, this episode starts with Bones down on a planet filling what looks like a science fair kit with.
He's playing with Play-Doh. He's got some Play-Doh.
I wrote what appears to be wet Play-Doh.
Yeah, there you go.
Which he is calling organic compounds, and he says it could be a medical treasure house, but that never comes up again. We don't circle back on that one.
That's not what this episode's about.
No. Meanwhile, somewhere else on the planet, but pretty close, you would hope, Kirk and Spock find the tracks of what Kirk says is a Mugato. I guess he's been on this planet before when he was surveying it for the Federation, and he came across an ape-like carnivore creature that I'm sure we'll never see. Don't worry, I'm sure it looks totally normal.
Upon being told that there are big ape men here, I did have a flashback to, I believe it was the Galileo 7.
Yes, these ones, spoilers, a lot more ape-like.
Yeah.
Those ones were like cave people with just big sticks.
They were big, yeah, they were extra large, so they threw extra large spears, but these ones are just, well, we'll see.
We'll see. I mean, or will we?
Will we see? Did we afford an ape suit?
Yes.
Yes.
Kirk says the locals use bows and arrows for hunting, but never against each other, and he seems like generally pretty high on them in terms of them just being like a really cool, peaceful race of people who are great. But then immediately upon saying that, Kirk and Spock see some dark-haired locals about to ambush some of the white-haired locals, including a friend that Kirk made the last time he was here called Tyree. Oops.
That's true.
And also they have guns.
That is also true. I want to mention the difference of hair color. It's so that we can differentiate the sides, but it reminded me of the Sneetches. Remember the Sneetches?
Nope.
Have I talked about the Sneetches before? From Dr. Seuss. They were like, we have stars on our bellies, so we're cooler than the ones that don't have stars on our bellies. And then the ones without stars on their bellies learned how to put stars on their bellies, and so then the ones that already had stars on their bellies took the stars off their bellies, because it's not about having the stars, it's about we just want to be racist.
That makes sense. I did think it was very clear why they did it, so you could immediately, like, within a second, distinguish between the two groups of people.
It actually, upon going into it, has nothing to do with the Sneetches.
No,
but
well,
I just, I wanted to talk about them.
but it is interesting of, like, because, I mean, we're going to see later, but it's like the white-haired people are called the hill people, and then the dark-haired people are called the villagers, and it's because the hill people just live in fucking caves, and the villagers have a town.
I guess the villagers built a little town, yeah.
So something has dramatically changed in the two cultures.
Maybe the white hair is because they're like sun bleached because they don't have roofs.
Yeah, maybe. So Kirk pulls his phaser to shoot at the guys with the guns. And Spock says that they can't use it because this planet like doesn't know that phasers exist, I guess. It's, Prime Directive type shit.
Mm-hmm.
And so instead he picks up a big rock and he throws it at the dark-haired guys, which causes them to immediately give up on ambushing the white-haired guys and instead chase after Kirk and Spock.
They blow their position because the rock startles the guy with the gun, who just fires it off into the air because he's new to holding a gun.
Yeah. But unfortunately, in the chase back to where Bones is, so they can beam off the planet, Spock gets fully shot in the back with a flintlock rifle.
Man, okay. So a couple of times throughout this series, will jokingly say like, "Oh, he's dead." Haha. Oh, Sulu got blown up. He's dead. Haha. On the console.
Right.
This is the most. This is the most he's dead I've ever genuinely felt about a main cast member.
He got
Spock
just shot.
gets just full shot through the back. The blood bursts from his chest too. There's a blood stain in his front.
Yeah, although the shirt itself, no damage.
No, well, we can't. We can't waste a shirt.
So we get the intro, and back on the Enterprise, they have beamed up and they lay Spock on a stretcher and cut his shirt to help him by spraying Fabuloso on a Brillo pad. I'm not really sure what that was supposed to do.
We just wasted the shirt. I just told him not to do that.
And here we are cutting it. Also, hey, Nurse Chapel's here, and guess what? She's going to play an important role in both of these episodes.
That's true.
That's crazy. Bones says that if his heart wasn't where his liver should be, he'd be dead by now, which I'm starting to take umbrage with. Not just because of the like, oh, he's different, so he gets to survive everything thing, although that is starting to get a little annoying. But because it's like, what do you mean where it's supposed to be? Dude's a Vulcan. It's where it's supposed to be. It's just not where yours is.
The casual Bones racism strikes again.
But hey, before they can really do anything about fixing Spock, Uhura calls with a red alert being started because a Klingon ship is apparently approaching the planet.
Klingons hate these guys.
That's what I'm saying. Kirk asks if Spock is okay, and Bones says he doesn't know yet. So Kirk, looking real sad, heads on up to the bridge where
he's
Chekhov,
very worried that his Vulcan boyfriend might die.
Yeah. Which is maybe a little funny because the two actors, I think at this time, are still feuding.
Off and on. Yeah, a little bit.
When he gets up to the bridge, Chekhov says that the Klingons don't know that they're there because they're keeping the planet between them. So they lower the alert to yellow, I guess. There's a couple of things about this that confuse me. Maybe Klingon ships are like not as good, but Uhura's like, do you want us to send a message to, Starfleet to let them know what's going on? And he's like, no, that'll give away our position. But then they almost immediately beam back down to the planet. And later in this episode, the Enterprise is able to know when a Klingon beams back and forth from their ship. So like, is it like you have to know that the other ship is there so you can scan it so you can see if its transporters are working or something?
Maybe.
Probably.
Because they know the Klingon ship is there, they know what to look for, whereas the Klingon ship does not know that the Enterprise is there. Plus, the Enterprise is pretty state of the art, not to toot our own horn. So
yeah.
I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt on that one.
But I don't know how state of the art it is, because it's the same ship that Pike was driving around in, and he was captain for at least a while.
We get tune-ups.
Maybe.
The Federation is cool and advanced.
Do we ever see a version of like the Enterprise or a Star Trek show where the ship is just kind of a piece of shit? Where it's like the Serenity and Firefly? It's just like you got to know how it works. You got to punch it in the right place to get the thing to work.
I mean, the Voyager had some problems due to the circumstances it was in. I don't think we go full Serenity. No. Be fun though.
Maybe someday we will. Kirk suspects that the Klingons have violated the Prime Directive, which I don't know if they have, but he says something about a treaty, so I guess they have a treaty. By giving the locals guns, but Scotty, Chekhov, and Uhura all immediately start disagreeing with Kirk, which means that Kirk is definitely right.
Oh, absolutely.
If the main character is being questioned, it means he's correct. That's what I've learned about Star Trek.
Yeah.
A new doctor named Mbenga. I watched this like 2 days ago, so I don't remember how to pronounce it, but I wrote it Mbenga.
I'm gonna roll with it. Yeah.
Or Mbenga.
He specializes in Klingon butts.
He's specifically really good at Vulcans.
Vulcan butts.
Because
that's what I meant to say.
He used to work in a Vulcan ward somewhere, which when they said it the first time, if I didn't have subtitles on, would have thought that they said Vulcan war. That is almost what I wrote down. Not correct.
The Vulcan butt ward.
And he's working on Spock, and he says that they don't have any replacement organs for the damaged ones. And I was like, okay, this is the second time that this has come up now, where like we didn't have Vulcan blood, we don't have Vulcan organs. I understand that like maybe we don't keep organs for all kinds of people on the ship, but like if you're gonna have a Vulcan officer, You need to have the equipment to take care of him if he gets fucking shot. You're on a military
Yeah,
vessel.
seriously.
Like, it's
This is a
weird.
high-ranking officer too.
It's weird how much this is coming up. You know what I mean? And I know,
Hmm.
spoilers, he's gonna be fine. He's Spock. But like, come on. And we've
He's
got
not
this
always fine
doctor who
though.
specializes in Vulcans. You're telling me he wasn't like, can we get some blood, dude?
We
Uh,
can't 3D print a Vulcan lung.
I couldn't tell you. But hey, with this, the doctor staff has improved. Now there's 3 of them. There's 2 doctors and a nurse, and I'm sure we'll see Mbenga again soon. I don't know if that's true.
I
Probably not.
uh, we might. Hang on. Let me.
He's not in the next one. That's all I know.
No. I got that here. It's one of my fun facts. We do see him again in exactly one other episode.
Okay, so but he does work here.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take it. We see Leslie again on this episode, and I was like,
It
"Who the
it
fuck?"
might be it might be a season 3 episode though.
Oh, might be a while. Although we're getting pretty close to the end of season 2 here.
Oh yeah.
So Kirk says that he and Bones need to beam back down to the planet in local garb, so that they don't get immediately caught as being from a different planet, I guess, so that they can, figure out what's going on. To which I had 2 questions: why didn't they dress that way when they beamed down the first time? And 2, why do all the locals dress like Crocodile Dundee?
They probably the first time they probably didn't feel the need to because Kirk had been here before and it was all super duper peaceful then. So he could just
Sure, but if
rock
someone
up and
saw
be
them, it
like,
would still be the same thing whether they were shooting at him or not. If the problem is like we're not dressed like a local,
you could just say he's not from here. They know they're not from here,
right?
right? So I don't know.
And he
As long as
does.
you're not firing off weapons of mass destruction, I think you're okay.
They do specifically dress like the hill people too. So presumably the villagers would see them and
Well, you
still
would
just shoot.
if you're going to find the hill people, you can't dress as the village
The
people.
village people.
You
Although,
can't dress as a cop and a Native American and firefighter. Was
whoever
there a
else was in the
firefighter?
village.
I
Yeah,
don't remember.
probably.
Everyone remembers the cop and the Native American. I don't remember. Oh, the construction worker.
The construction worker.
Hmm.
Sure. Yeah. I think there was a sailor. That feels like a thing that would be in the village people. Anyway, they beam down, but before they do, Scotty warns them that they might have to leave orbit to avoid being seen by the Klingon ship, which I'm sure won't come up immediately. Uh-oh, it does. Bones gives Kirk... As soon as they get down on the planet, Bones starts giving Kirk shit for a report that he made the last time he was on the planet, where he said that we shouldn't mess with this culture, we shouldn't talk to them or whatever, we should just let them continue to grow the way that they are so that they stay peaceful. He's like, well, now we're going to
There,
go and talk to them, and they have guns, so oops.
there wasn't a firefighter. There was a biker, a cowboy, and an army guy.
But didn't the lineup of the village people change throughout the years?
I think so, but in all the pictures I'm seeing, that's consistent.
Okay. Okay. If you know about the village people, leave a comment.
I'm glad that we've gotten to the bottom of the village people and
Yeah, that was what was really important in this episode. But hey, seconds later, they're attacked by a Mugato, which is a weird
oh
gorilla with like a dinosaur tail with spikes and a big stupid horn coming out of the top of its head.
yeah, all that conversation about how they were dressing didn't matter because they found the one thing that doesn't give a shit how
Doesn't
they're
give a
dressed
shit. Yeah.
and proceeds to, pardon my language, suck on Captain Kirk's titty.
It tackles him immediately to the ground, starts biting him, and then Bones disintegrates it with a phaser,
Yeah, he deletes it.
which is like, hey man, what if somebody saw that? Which, like, there is a guy standing very nearby, we find out, but he just doesn't seem to give a shit. So,
Hmm.
but unfortunately, the thing bit him, and on top of being a giant, physically powerful ape, the Mugato is also poisonous,
Yeah,
which is a very strange combination. Typically, it's like small, weaker things that are poisonous, just in nature.
maybe that is small for this planet. Maybe there's something that hunts the Mugatos.
And that's what I was gonna say. Is what else is on this fucking planet? Is what else is going on here?
Wow, that's crazy.
Uh, anyway, Bone says he doesn't have a cure for whatever the Mugato poison is, and when he tries to call up to the Enterprise, they've already left.
Damn.
It was 1 second, and they already left. Kirk sends his friend says that his friend Tyree knows some kind of cure for the Mugado poison, so they need to get to the village. So Bones asks a local who happens to just be standing by for help getting to the village, and he does not respond. But don't worry,
Bro's
there's
just staring.
literally just staring. Probably because he saw the big gorilla get disintegrated, but he doesn't mention it. So I guess I don't know. But it doesn't really matter that he doesn't seem to be helping, because there's a commercial break, and then at the end of it, we're just at the village. So I guess he did.
Mm-hmm.
And that local guy says that Tyree will be home soon. So they put Kirk in a little cave and cover him in blankets. And then Bones is like, I've got to keep him warm and alive.
They look like cozy blankets, but you gotta remember that they're 60s blankets, so they're probably like musty, sticky.
They're musty. They're definitely itchy.
Blankets.
They're also just animal skins, so they probably still have like the meat or something on the back.
It's got the goo. It's got the this was the. It's from a predator that hunts the Mugatos.
Yeah, that's why it's so big.
It's got the goo in it.
The goo monsters that hunt the Mugatos.
Ooh.
The Goo Gatos.
I don't like that, the Goo Gatos.
We cut to Tyree elsewhere and his dark-haired, low-rise leather pant-wearing wife, Nona.
Hereafter, who will just be referred to as the witch.
The witch.
Yeah.
They spot some guys with flintlocks, and she's like, we should get those fire sticks. Like, we should steal those guns so that we can shoot them and take their shit. And Tyree's like, bro, what the fuck? No. And the witch, Nona, says, identifies herself as a Kan-Ut-Tu woman, which means witch.
Yeah.
And she says, and I'm really good at spells, which is why you're awesome. I made you awesome with spells. And then he's like, no, but I am in love with you because of your spells. And then she pulls out the grass that makes you horny. And
she got the goddamn weed that makes you horny. She rubs it on his arm.
She rubs the grass that makes you horny up on his arm, and he immediately starts trying to hard make out with her. But unfortunately for, I guess, both of them, that villager that was helping Kirk earlier rocks up and is like, hey, we got some weird dudes from out of town, and when they need help, they get attacked by a Mugado. And Nona's like, sounds interesting. I'm going to leave this guy to jerk off in a bush.
Thus begins the Tyree Cuck arc.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's where we're going.
She goes to the village and says that Tyree will be shortly behind once he calms down. And she sees, unfortunately, Bones zapping the rocks with his phaser to make them hot the way that Sulu did that one time on the planet that was freezing.
We have seen this before.
So now she knows that they're from space, I guess. Or that they're not what they seem, at least. Tyree shows up, and she immediately starts manipulating him into telling her everything that he knows about Kirk, which is seemingly not a lot, except that he's from a different planet. And she says it by like, we're married, you claim him to be your brother, which means he's my brother too, so you have to tell me everything. It's like, okay, sure, dude.
This is a black pilling episode. I don't like it.
Also, and I just want to throw this out here, and I'm surprised I haven't said it already, a lot of really fucking terrible wigs this episode.
Oh, yeah.
All of the Hill People wigs are terrible white mullets. The one on Nona is like, it looks like we started with the Xena Warrior Princess hair and just like kept adding shit until it looked awful.
A lot of hairspray.
There's like some random long ass braids that are way longer than the rest of the hair. And I'm like, what are we doing? Back on the ship, there's a cute little cutaway where Mabenga is explaining Kryptonian hypersleep, basically, but the Vulcan version, to Chapel by saying, like, he's not dead or fully unconscious. He's just, like, healing. This is how Vulcans do it, is they, like, have to focus all their mental power on healing. So he can hear us talking, and he definitely knows that you're holding his hand, you creep. And
she's like, this is how, but I would do this for any patient. And she gets all embarrassed and walks away.
I'm a good doctor. I just wanted to hold his hand because he's cute. I mean, a patient. Anyway, back down on the planet, Tyree and his witch wife come back into the cave, and she has a quote-unquote moving root, by which I mean she has a thing in her hand and she's just kind of shaking her hand.
She's holding, it's a duty. She's holding a piece of duty, and she rubs it on Kirk's chest. She's got
telepathy. Look, I can move the thing right out of my hand.
Pick me up with his mind powers and shark me like a dog.
Honestly. So she cuts her hand, puts it on this root, has what appears to be like a full what is it, Harry Met Sally orgasm. She's rolling around, going crazy, and then they're both just healed. He like wakes up, her hand is healed. She the entire time is saying crazy shit like, "Your soul and mine are together now," whatever that means.
It's like
I don't know.
it's beyond a red flag. It's like a what's more than a flag? What's a bigger flag?
It's like if you were dating a girl and she came over and she was like, "There's a bad energy in your apartment. I need to like burn incense in here and do a ritual." You'd be like, "What is that? What do you mean?
That moment in the first,
You don't live here."
I believe it's the first Paranormal Activity movie where they call the priest, like, weird stuff's happening. We need you to come. And he looks around and he's like, I hear what you're saying. I'm gonna go. I don't like it here.
I don't like it here. This place sucks.
It's that kind of red flag.
At the end of the weird ritual, Tyree hits a drum, which seemingly causes Nona to pass out. The timing was on point.
It's called the cum drum.
The cum drum.
Yeah.
But Kirk wakes up and then says he's tired and goes back to sleep, which I can relate to.
Mm-hmm.
But Bones, while I guess checking to see if Kirk is healed, starts like very awkwardly caressing Kirk's chest.
Listen, we've grown very close in our travels.
I guess so.
Don't think anything of it. It's fine. He's a doctor, damn it.
Tyree carries Nona away, saying now Kirk and her are bonded, so he won't be able to refuse her, which is like, maybe it's a thing you want to bring up before the ritual.
I wrote this down. Her exact quote was, "He is mine now."
Yeah.
No?
It also like doesn't really seem to be true.
She's just, I don't know. She's on a power trip. She's the weirdest thing about this episode.
She's very strange.
We're very clearly trying to do or at least we started out trying to do a Vietnam type thing. And now we're just kind of lost in the weeds here with a witch doing witch stuff.
See, I don't know. I never got like specifically Vietnam vibes from any part of it, to be honest with you.
It is, I have that in one of the, I actually didn't take that one down. But when they wrote this episode, that was like initially the point. And again, I think they just drifted away from it too much.
Yeah. It doesn't
like they specifically had, like, I don't remember which character it was. They're like, this guy is Ho Chi Minh.
Sure.
I could find that if I need to.
It's probably the Klingon guy.
Unless Ho Chi Minh was a witch.
Yeah, I mean, that was going to be my question, is like, what the fuck does a witch have to do with Vietnam?
That's what I'm saying.
It's like, I don't know, man. Anyway, the next morning, I guess, because Bones is just asleep now, he wakes up and finds Kirk sitting very weirdly over Nona's bed while she's asleep. But then he goes and wakes Kirk up, and he like seems like he's coming out of a daze. But then before we can really address that, Tyree also wakes up, and then they reunite as like, "Hey man, we're best friends. Remember that time we were best friends?" It's really weird. It's a weird time. Kirk then explains to Bones, I guess, that the Kan-Uttu witches they're witches and they do medicine, and that's basically probably why she was able to help him and why he thought that they should come to the village to be helped. And meanwhile, Nona is just being super weird and seems to want to fight the village people, and like really wants to be part of the conversation about how we should kill the village people. So the men are like, "Hey, we're gonna go catch up about other stuff in a different part of the cave real fast. You're not invited because you're being really crazy right now." In that conversation, Tyree tells them that that he believes the villagers are making the flintlocks themselves, and that Tyree has not seen any strangers in their camp, both of which are not true. He's just stupid.
Yes.
But Nona then shows up at the conversation she wasn't invited to, with her wig looking even worse than usual. And she says, "Tyree told me all about you. You better help us kill these guys. I know everything." And Kirk's like, I can't do that because of the Prime Directive. And so Nona throws a fit, and then Tyree also gets mad and says that he doesn't want to kill the village people because like, he doesn't like killing people, which is fair. So Nona runs out of the room saying that her husband's lame and has no dick or something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Which is true, probably.
But then that night, Bones, Kirk, and Tyree sneak into the village to do espionage or whatever. So like clearly they're doing something. This is also where I noted that the village people's village is like way nicer. It's like stone buildings and shit, and it's like, oh well, and not just like we piled up rocks, but like stone buildings with like stucco. Like it looks like a little Spanish village basically.
Yeah.
But the hill people are literally living in caves and tents. It's like how did we get so different if we're within walking distance of each other? So Kirk immediately knocks a guy's out who has a flintlock, and he tells Tyree to take the gun. So now Tyree, the guy who doesn't want to use any kind of violence, is the only guy with a gun that he's allowed to legally use on this planet. And then we find out through a cutaway that there is indeed a Klingon named Krell on the planet who has been interfering with the whole situation by teaching the village people how to make guns in exchange for them killing the hill people for some reason that is never explained why he wants that.
Well, I think he was trying to, like, co-opt the village people in under like Klingon command to conquer the planet, so that it could just be part of the Klingon Empire, like a foothold in the
Sure,
Klingon Empire, which
but
would
the hill people aren't adversaries until you start shooting them.
no, but the Klingons are there. See, Daniel, this is why it's Vietnam.
But that's not what happened in Vietnam either.
Listen, it said okay. I'm gonna do this now instead of waiting till the end because I did find it. So the original writer of the episode, he had more overt Vietnam analogies throughout the script. And the person he referred to as Ho Chi Minh was Apella, which is the leader of the village people.
Sure.
So the Klingons giving them all the weapons and everything. Um, and then Gene Roddenberry came in and did a shit ton of rewrites and was like, "We're just not going to do that." And then the writer got mad and then demanded to be given a pseudonym for the credit, which is, I think, like the second time that we've had that happen.
Yeah.
At least the second that we've talked about throughout this show.
I don't remember what episode it was, but I remember that episode was like really good, and we were embarrassed that guy didn't want his name on it.
Oh, that was City on the Edge of Forever.
Right. That might, yeah.
So that one's weird that you refuse to take credit for. This one is
this was fine,
more understandable.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm gonna,
especially if like you had a complete different vision and then they turned it into just kind of an episode.
Imagine the original episode didn't even have a witch in it.
Maybe I will say like none of the Vietnam stuff comes through at all.
I think I was only looking at it through that lens because I had read that before watching the episode.
That's fair.
So seeing the two parties and everything, I was like, okay,
sure. I do, as not having known that, it's for me it's like it's just two groups fighting. Like,
yeah,
that could be anything.
I mean, but when we say like this is the Vietnam episode, it packs more of a punch than this is the witch cuckoldry episode.
I don't know. That one sounds more like Star Trek to me.
When you get into the nitty gritty, surface level, real world issues, inner level, witch cuckoldry.
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, Apella, the Ho Chi Minh guy, and leader of the village people, says that the villagers took a woman in an earlier raid, but they can't figure out how to divide her among all the people who did the raid, which is already a crazy thing to say. So the Klingon tells him to give her to the one that killed the most hill people as a reward. And then we never see or help that woman, which makes it a weird thing to bring up in front of our... Well, I guess the heroes don't know about it, but it's a weird thing to bring up in the episode. And also, just gross. I understand that they're doing it to be like, these people are bad. But it's also like, we don't really see them kill anybody. They could have just shot
The
those guys earlier, and they would have had like the same effect. We would have known that they were like actually bad.
the leader of the village people was the policeman.
Oh, A-Cab.
I looked that up, but he switched his costume to a naval officer at one point. So
Maybe that's what I was thinking of. A sailor.
yeah, maybe.
Uh, Kirk and Bones, while exploring a forge, find coal and sulfur for making gunpowder, and gun barrels that are so well made that they have actually been intentionally beat up a little bit on the outside to make them look like they could have been made here, but were clearly not.
Hmm.
So they immediately suspect Klingons, even though they haven't seen the Klingon guy yet. But don't worry, literally 1 second later, Krell and Apella walk into the forge, and they overhear Krell offering to make Apella a governor in the Empire.
Yeah, there you go.
So they just jump them and beat their ass, and then 2 more guys show up, and for a second we think they might be about to get caught, but then they don't, and they beat their ass too, and they run away with Tyree, who did not help at all and was not part of this scene, really.
Bones just kind of knocks some shit on top of the guy, and he goes down.
And you know what? Good for him, because
Yeah.
I don't remember Bones really being useful in any other fights, so good for him. Meanwhile, back on the Enterprise, Spock starts waking up from having been shot through the chest. And I forgot to mention earlier, but in the same scene where Chapel was caught holding Spock's hand, M'Benga told her that when he wakes up, she should do whatever he says, which was a very weird and vague thing to say when it seems in hindsight that he knew what he was going to ask. But Spock wakes up and asks her to hit him so that the pain will like wake him up fully, I guess, because he's like basically stuck in a trance, or I don't really know. And she's like, I don't really want to do that, but she does. And then Scotty runs in and sees her slapping the shit out of Spock. It's like, what the fuck?
Scotty's ready to like arrest this woman. Yeah.
But then as he's holding her back, M'Benga runs in and just also
Like, no,
stops slapping. Just starts beating Spock's ass too.
You don't understand. He needs it.
He needs it. It helps. This is medicine.
And it was.
And it was. It worked. Back down on the planet, Kirk is teaching the Hill people how to use the stolen gun that they have exactly one of, which may be a little bit useless to show what is a collective of I think, at least 6 people, how to use our only gun that only Tyree, the one person who will never shoot in, is going to carry for most of the episode. But whatever. Bones gets really mad because he's like, why are you teaching these people how to use guns when like the whole reason that we're in this problem is because the Klingons gave them guns? And Kirk makes an argument about they have to balance it to make it even or whatever, about it's better to have. It's a really bad argument, but it feels like a very 60s argument.
No, it is a bad argument, but it's at this point as well where he, not by name, but he does specifically reference Vietnam. He's like, in the 20th century.
He says the brush war.
He's the brush war in
Asia.
He says like somewhere in Asia, and I'm like, okay, there's another one, but like that's it.
I do feel like it's still like a really bad argument though, because it's like, why could you not just take the guns away from the other?
Yeah, guys? I was also like at this point I was wondering.
Have?
I'm like, okay, so let's just say that they are talking about the Vietnam thing. What are they saying is the good side?
Yeah, what's the solution?
He doesn't. He just says like it's a fight that's got to happen, and if the best we can hope for is a stalemate.
Yeah, is a stalemate that goes on forever. And Bones,
that's what he said.
Bones doesn't like it, but kind of goes along with it eventually.
People are gonna die, and he's like, well,
but not everyone, because his argument is if they don't help the Hill people, then the village people will kill all the Hill people. And if they do help the Hill people, then the Hill people will kill all the village people, and then one of these cultures will no longer exist. So the best thing to do is to have them fight endlessly at a stalemate for some fucking reason. And I'm like, okay, so people just constantly getting shot.
He can't just say, like, you're being manipulated by an outside power, come together, peace talks. Like, that seems more the Star Trek thing to do.
We've stopped other conflicts already in this show. I don't know why this is the solution.
It's because they, at the time in real life, didn't have an answer to Vietnam yet.
I guess. But you'd think Gene Roddenberry would at least have a fucking opinion.
It's weird.
Anyway,
but hey, I wasn't there. it might shock some people to learn that I didn't serve in Vietnam. So, if you've got better opinion than mine, feel free to leave a comment.
My uncle did. I guess I could call him.
Call him right now.
It's 1 a.m. So they decide that because Tyree doesn't want to fight, they have to go to the witch Nona to sway him into doing a big fight.
Just like Vietnam. Yeah.
Just like Vietnam, just like how all the witches did. Spock returns to the bridge and they detect that a Klingon is beaming back to his ship. I brought that up earlier, but I was like, I don't know. Why? And also, like, the Enterprise has taken out Klingon ships before. Why are we hiding? You know?
I don't know. We're in a weird. What part of space are we in? Are we in the neutral zone? Are we supposed to? If we opened fire on a Klingon ship, would that bring war? I think they mentioned that.
They do mention that, but I don't even mean like open fire on them. I just mean like, have them know you're there.
True.
If nothing else is like a deterrent.
They did immediately start by just hiding from them, where if you pulled up right next to them, been like, we're watching what you're doing. Maybe they would have fucked off.
Hey, yo, bro, what's up? What's Gucci?
That's odd, too. You're right.
So Kirk goes to find Nona, and of course he finds her as she's showering at a waterfall.
Mm-hmm.
And naturally, before he's like, I was looking for you. And she was like, I know, I made you look for me. And he was like, what the fuck? What do you mean?
It's never easy with you, is it?
But then before they can really talk about anything of value, she then hits him with the grass that makes you horny. And he kisses her, which Tyree sees and almost shoots them. But then remembers that he's not the guy who shoots guns and instead throws the gun away.
I wrote down Tyree failed the final cuck test, but maintained his morals.
Yeah, at least he's not OJ.
Oh, we don't. Does it ever keep you up at night knowing that the real killer could still be out there?
No, he died.
I didn't cut out.
I know.
I didn't say anything.
But then the second Mugato attacks Kirk and Nona like mid kiss, but Kirk, because he's like kind of high, is kind of like holding on to Nona so she can't get away or really fight or do anything, and he's not doing anything. So fortunately the big ape thing like kind of fucks around a little and like is not as effective as when the different one, I guess, attacked Kirk earlier. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't actually do any damage, and Kirk is able to regain enough consciousness to vaporize it with his phaser. But then Nona sees him do that, hits him in the head with a rock, and takes the phaser.
Mm-hmm. And then her next move is to take the phaser and try to give it to her enemies.
So, because first, the rest of our friends come up and like find Kirk with his head caved in, and they're like, "Where the fuck is Nona?" It's Tyree, Bones, and Kirk, and then I don't know what her fucking plan is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like there's just a group of these guys walking through the plains of wherever, and she just holds this box up that they're never gonna know what the fuck that is, and she's like, "I have, a strange new weapon for you if you take me to your leader so I can, I guess, hit him with the horny grass and become his wife or something."
Why would she not just take it to the hill people that she was already basically in control of?
Why does she not just shoot them?
Well, she just doesn't do anything, and then she gets sexually assaulted.
They're like, "No, you're stupid, you're a what?" Like, they recognize her as Tyree's wife.
Mm-hmm.
Then they attack her, and one of them kisses her. Then Tyree, Bones, and Kirk catch up, and they're like, "Hey, that's my wife." At which point the guy goes, "Oops," and stabs her.
Yeah. Bones gets shot also.
Bones gets shot in the arm because he already participated in one fight scene in this episode, and he's not doing it again.
He's tired.
DeForest Kelly said, "I don't want to do that."
I understand.
And in the fight, Tyree kills a guy with a rock. And when he finds out Nona's dead, he gets really pissed and he wants to kill more of the villagers.
Yeah, well,
this is kind of where the episode ends. Is Spock calls down, Bones finds out he's alive, and so he's really happy about that. And then Kirk orders Scotty to manufacture 100 flintlocks to give to the hill people, and then that's just the end of the episode. Is we gave him guns
Scotty
and we're gonna fucking leave.
Scotty said, "I'm sorry, what? What did you say?" And then Kirk starts waxing poetics about serpents for the Garden of Eden. He's like, "No, literally, what did you say?" Wh- I I I hate this ending, and I think I hate this episode.
It's pretty bad.
Um,
At first, I was like willing to give it a chance because the costumes were funny, but then Nona
mhm,
was just so annoying and awful
mhm,
as a character and made no sense for her motivation.
mhm.
And then the ending was just like I just don't
Yeah,
believe that that's a thing that
we
a Starfleet captain would do.
no, especially Kirk.
Yeah,
We let these two sides go to war with weapons that have been introduced to them, granted by the Klingons, but now we're just like, well, good luck.
it's
And then that's the end. We lost, but we're leaving.
it's the worst version of like you found your kid smoking a cigarette, so you bought him a pack and made him smoke the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Took all the filters out.
So you got any other trivia about this?
Couple. At one point, Dr. Mbenga
Yeah.
uses a mysterious vitalizer B compound to stabilize Spock. This is the only time that compound is ever mentioned or used in all of Star Trek.
We should probably get more of that.
Probably. I like this one. So originally, the Mugato was called the Gumato.
I
Not a
was
joke.
I almost said that earlier.
And the reason that they became the Mugato is because DeForest Kelly kept mispronouncing it. He couldn't say it right. So they changed it. But if you look in the closing credits, it still says Gumato.
Wonder what he kept saying.
He kept saying, I think he just kept saying Mugato. I think when
They
he
just
says
changed
the
it to what
word,
he was saying.
I think when he said Mugato in the episode, that's the flubbed line, and they were just like, "Fuck it, we'll just redo the other ones."
Oh, do you think maybe it was like go mato, like gorilla mato, whatever it was, mato, like a kind of
I don't know. It's
reptile, like
spelled
poisonous reptile?
it's spelled exactly the same. It's just the G and the M are swapped. That's it.
I wonder if the name used to mean something and now it's just that thing that DeForest Kelly said.
The
Uh,
Mugato.
Either way, pretty funny.
Um, this is the last episode that was a production credit for showrunner Gene L. Kuhn, who we've mentioned before. It's crazy that this is his last episode. That kind of sucks.
Oops.
Yeah, he resigned halfway through season 2, so that's about where we are.
Was he also the guy who wrote the whole Vietnam thing and then it got scrapped?
No, that was a different guy.
Different guy. Okay.
And then, yeah, so we mentioned the scene where Nancy Kovac, who plays the witch, they filmed the scene of her showering semi-nude, shot from behind,
Uh huh.
and they put it in the final cut that got presented to NBC. The entire reason they put it in the cut was to distract the standards and practices NBC censors, to have them take it out so that they would not pay attention to and overlook some of the other sensual things that they put in, like her orgasming while rubbing the duty root on Kirk and other things. I guess maybe Bones massaging Kirk's chest. I don't know. I don't know why they felt they needed to sneak that in,
I would have
and why
happily. I
they
would have
were
traded the other way.
they pulled the Great Heist. I don't know why they felt it was important, but apparently the showering scene, if you need to know, it's on a blooper reel that can be viewed on YouTube. So if any
Oh,
of
great.
you horny Star Trek people want to see the witch taking a shower in a waterfall, who illogical. This episode's
She,
illogical. I
for
don't
sure.
like it. It's bad, actually, and we're moving on.
I'm also giving it illogical, obviously. Um, how would she even shower in that dog shit wig? Like realistically.
Oh, well, realistically, in the world, I think that's her hair.
Well, no, but I mean, like, from a production standpoint, I
Oh,
bet if you get that wet, it melts.
no, I think the answer is she's not standing under the water, she's standing next to the water.
Oh, she's just naked in water.
Yeah, she's just naked standing next to the water and pretending to shower. Yeah.
Yeah, Yeah, I guess that makes sense. That's unfortunate, but you're almost certainly right.
Anyways, that one was bad, but
What
now let's
a
talk about Return to Tomorrow.
what an episode. Hey, one big win immediately off the top of this episode. Sulu's back, baby, and he's in pretty much just this scene, but he's back.
Yeah, it was a very fleeting victory, but there he is. They wanted us to know right off the bat, he's back.
He's back, and Chekhov's gone, so I guess they can't be in the same episode.
So if you're operating under the assumption that they're the same person in disguises, you could still be thinking that.
It holds up. Anyway, there's some distress signal that they're following, but they can't figure out where it's coming from, really, or like who's sending it. It's a very mysterious one. And they are now hundreds of light years past where Earth ships have explored, which is just
That's crazy. And this, you know what? This is why baby boomers are always the ones that fall for like telemarketing scams.
right. You gotta.
This is don't talk to strangers. We got a phone call hundreds of light years away from explored space. We're gonna go check it out. Are you fucking kidding me?
There's a point in a minute here where they're about to like send a message back. And they're like, how long is that going to take to get back to Starfleet? And Uhura says 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
So how long were they chasing this fucking message?
3 weeks.
Because do we think that the Enterprise is able to move at the same speed as the radio or whatever waves that they're sending? No, because they specifically said like 2 episodes ago that they've got a faster way of sending shit now. I don't know, man.
Yeah, okay. But these are spoilers. We're about to find out they're godlike alien beings.
Yeah, they don't really act
So-
like it too much here, but yeah.
No, but they I don't know. I'm gonna assume that these things somehow have the capacity to reach us faster than we can tell our communicators to reach back to Starfleet.
Yeah, for sure. That I understand. I just mean like I have to assume that the Enterprise does not move as fast as its capability of sending a message. You know what I mean?
No.
So if it takes 3 weeks to get the message back, they had to have been following this thing for like a month,
A while.
or more.
Yeah, a couple weeks at least.
And they can't just be in the area because the previous episode, and I know they're shot out of order, but they were at a place where like he had been before. So you can't even say like, so clearly an Earth ship has been there before. And we're hundreds of light years past. I don't know, man. The universe is crazy. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. They find a planet that is Earth-like but older and dead from some kind of cataclysm that destroyed its atmosphere. And before we can really figure out what any of that's about, a ghostly voice starts talking in the bridge, and it says that he is Sargon, and he like keeps calling them his children, which is always a great sign.
Did you write the same joke that I did?
No, probably not.
Pausing for dramatic effect.
Uh-oh.
Sargon these nuts.
I figured it out. I figured it out just before you said it.
Sargon these nuts, yeah.
Sargon these nuts.
Yeah.
Anyway, he asks them to orbit the planet, and he says that the planet's dead and that he's dead, and if they don't want to be dead, that they should probably do what he says.
If I die, then y'all will die too, trust. Like, okay. Sure, I guess so.
So Kirk decides to resume contact with Sargon after the intro. Spock probes the planet, and Sargon says, "Your probes have touched me, Spock."
Pause. What do you mean?
What are you talking about? He also sets their transporter. Sargon sets their transporter beam to a location more than 100 miles under the rock of the planet in a chamber.
We can't do that.
At one point, Kirk is like, "Okay, Spock, you stay here because we can't have both people leave." And then Sargon turns the lights off on the ship. And he's like, what? "I guess Sargon wants you to come, so we gotta go."
He had us come all the way out here, and he had no problem yelling at your probes touch my nipples, Mr. Spock, for everybody to hear. And then Kirk says, "You stay here," and then he gets passive aggressive.
It's crazy.
No, dude, say no. Bring that guy.
Bring that guy. I would like that guy here, actually.
Bring him, please.
In the transporter room,
the character we're about to meet, she got brainworms in her that says, "Hey, I want you to come too. He couldn't say that to Spock
Couldn't just
directly.
ask Spock to. Yeah. In the transport room, they discuss how stupid it is to beam into 100 miles of rock, and some lady behind them named Anne Mulhall, who works here and has worked here the whole time for sure, she's an astrobiologist. It's not going to come up. Cuts in and says that she was ordered to go down too. When he's like, "Who are you and why are you here?" Which, like, I don't know, Kirk. Maybe you should know your fucking crew.
You're the boss, man.
Yeah.
I know. I know it's hard to remember everybody's name,
It's
but
400 people. Come on. I know, like, that's a big number. It's not an unachievable number, especially when you're taking them into, like, battle. She says that she was ordered to go down to the planet, and he's like, ordered by who? And she's like, it's crazy, I don't remember. And he's like, I'm sure that's a great sign. Guess you're coming.
Yeah. What can really be done at this point?
So Bones, Kirk, Spock, Mulhall, and 2 security officers step on the pads, and then everyone except the 2 security officers get beamed down to the planet.
Yeah. What? Did they get beamed into the bathroom?
No, they just don't leave. They just stay on the Enterprise.
Do they not beam? Hang on.
They just stay on the Enterprise. And Kirk, because there's a bit where Kirk's like, did he kill my guys? And Scotty's like, no, they're here.
Oh, okay, yeah. I just
one of them's Leslie, and we're like,
he says like, no, we didn't want them.
Yeah,
we didn't want to pay them for the day.
We didn't.
All right, fair enough.
Anyway, they end up in a chamber underground, where they find a glowing ball that contains the mind of Sargon D's nuts.
I forgot to say, there's that bit where he's like, please step onto the thing. I will control the teleportation. He's like telling everybody. And I wrote down the ghost host from the Haunted Mansion. Do not pull down on the safety bar. Sure. I will lower it for you.
Sure.
Because that's what he's the ghost host. This guy. That's what he's doing.
Fair enough.
Because my brain can only equate things I'm watching to things I've watched before. That's how my brain works.
That's not even a thing you watch. That's just a theme park ride.
I watch it in my dreams every day.
That's crazy. Mm-hmm. Anyway, he keeps calling them children again, and he explains that he's sort of like a weird precursor race that spread their seeds throughout the galaxy, and he like tries at one point to claim that Adam and Eve may have been his people, but then Kirk's like, no, it's not. It fucking wasn't.
Because Kirk's had enough of it. Kirk's had, like, last week, some fucking Jack the Ripper dude was saying, like, I'm a space being, but I was killing people on Earth. And then that Apollo asshole.
Yeah.
Everyone's saying, like, this dude just said, I might be God. You don't know. And Kirk's like, stop it.
He's like, no, you're not. But then Spock is like, well, that would explain some things in my history. And everyone's like, oh, God damn it, Spock.
That's Spock's problem to overcome. All right, if he wants to reach the origins of his race and mortality, that's fine. But as far as the human race, the buck stops here with Kirk. He says no.
Yeah, but then Sargon says, "But don't fact check that because we lost all the logs in the war. I don't have that. Don't worry about it." So Sargon then just like takes over Kirk's body. He's just
without
like
permission.
He just
does
it. And he seems to enjoy the experience a little too much. A little bit too much.
William Shatner, you mean?
Both of them. Sargon and William Shatner. He's like, I don't remember if this is where he starts doing like the whole thing, but he's like, it's great to breathe air again and to see again. And he's like freaking out. And then he's like, oh, this is such a great body. Ooh, what a great body your captain's got. And he starts walking like he shit his pants.
Yeah, if you ever need to make a sandwich, just bring the bread and the mayonnaise because William Shatner's got all the ham and cheese you need.
That's right. And a great ass. He then
maybe a little bit.
He then demands that they go into the next room so that Spock and Mulhall can get possessed by 2 other balls that are apparently his wife Thalassa, and the other is a guy called Enoch, who's from the opposite side of the war that destroyed the planet. Which I'm
sure that's fine.
Why did we keep that guy? And he does try to explain it. He was like, "Oh, well, we figured out that we should, keep both sides of the conversation." And it was like, no.
I mean, in a history as written by the victor's standpoint, having both sides, I can understand that, but you shouldn't have kept that guy. Is what we're gonna learn.
But then I have a series of questions. Okay, right. Hear me
Please,
out.
please do.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Number
hearing.
one, three of us are. There's like 10 or so balls on this wall, and only two
Hmm.
of them are still lit up. So presumably we tried to keep more people alive, and for some one reason or another, it didn't work.
Yes.
So these are just the three. Maybe he was like the only guy from the other side of the war who was in there. Maybe they were like, oh, we'll outnumber him. It won't matter or some
Hmm.
shit.
Like a Operation Paperclip.
But here's my question. Okay, the reason that they want to possess the bodies is so they can use the bodies to make robot bodies. Why did
Yes,
they put themselves in balls?
it's what they had at the time.
I just I just want to know why they were like, I'm just going to sit in a ball for millennia, and then when someone shows up, I'll use them to make me a new body,
Well,
using the
so
knowledge that I already have now of how to
I
make a
th-
body.
I think we're gonna learn very quickly in this episode what their true goals are in having a body. But so I think, they progressed in a way that they believed themselves, as this guy says, to be gods, right? He's like,
Right.
cool, we're gods, we're cool, we're chilling. We
Well,
had
but
a little bit of a war. We're
he
gonna
says
move
that as a
past
bad
it.
thing. Like he says that that's what
He
caused them to
does.
destroy themselves.
He does. It's true. But still, when they're up on their Mount Olympus smelling their own farts, they're like, well, to survive forever, we're gonna go in these little balls because we're gods, and that seems like a god thing to do. Only upon going inside the balls do they realize, wait, we don't have penises anymore.
Dude, it sucks to be a ball. I
And
can't even
then
move,
it
bro.
was an immediate mistake. Half those orbs probably, hang on, this is going on YouTube, probably unalived themselves.
Probably unalive themselves. What do you think it's
So
like in the ball? You think it's like it's like inside a Pokeball?
yes, because Kirk says because he gets in it when fucking Sargon these nuts takes over, he gets thrown in the ball, and he's like, I was just floating around in space and nothingness, and I'm like, is that what I'm doing to Pikachu?
That's what I'm fucking doing to
Is that
Pikachu.
where
That's
my warp
crazy.
portal goes?
There was some comic I was reading that was like inside the Pokemon. I think it might have been the Pokemon manga. I don't remember if it was that or it was like some short comic online or something. Where when they go back into their Pokeball, they either go back to Oak's lab or I guess whatever guy's lab, or
Mhm.
there's like a little like mini biome inside the ball. Like those are the two different versions that I had seen. But
I
then I also but it must be the second one. It must be there's a tiny biome inside the ball because I remember somewhere else that it's like, oh well, Pokemon can shrink to go in the ball. Pokemon's fucking weird, dude.
Yeah, they're monsters that go in your pocket. I am subscribing to the miniature biome in the Pokeball thing, specifically because when Ash is calling Professor Oak, like he's got Krabby, but he doesn't have
Oh,
Squirtle.
I mean, he's getting all mucked up, you know.
Yeah, he's got Muck for sure, and like 10,000 Tauros or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, he
That
did be
episode
getting
didn't
those
air in
Toros.
America, but
No, but the Toros
we
were there,
they were, yeah, it happened.
just unexplained.
Yeah. We're talking about Star Trek, though.
We'll do Pokemon sometime. Um,
That sounds like fun.
we'll probably have to do like 10 episodes per episode to make it worth the time of doing it.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. But think of the possibilities. Think
anyway,
of the guests.
anyway, so they're like, hey, we want to use your body so that we can build new robots' bodies for ourselves. And then Bones, who's the only one who's not about to get possessed, is like, okay, but just so you know, that's gonna kill us because every time because right now when you're in Kirk's body, his heart rate's like 260 and his metabolic rate's going absolutely fucking hog wild. So that's probably not a great idea for our health. And then Sargon swaps back into the ball and tells Kirk, well, okay, he lets him go. He's like, okay, you can go back to your ship and think about it. Like, I'm not going to force you to do it. We've waited a millennia or whatever. We can wait a couple more hours, which is like, cool. Okay, that's a nice thing to say.
Mhm.
But then Kirk also says this thing about like, oh, they passed each other again, like Pokemon on the trade wire, and he was like, when we passed, I figured out like who he is and what he wants. I was like, that seems awfully like convenient as a like, just trust me, bro. This guy's good. But like,
Yeah.
I guess we've only got 50 minutes or whatever. We gotta get moving.
Yeah.
So, but also here's my thing. He lets them leave, right? Lets them leave.
Yes.
Why did he turn off all the fucking power when Spock wasn't coming down?
Uh, because he needed Spock to come see. I don't know. He was getting a little past. I don't know, because gods are finicky, and I know this guy's not really a god,
He's
but
just kind of a
he thought
dickhead.
he was. He thought he was like in the '80s, so it's fine.
He's got his ball in a twist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, they go back up to the ship, and it basically just hard cuts to Scotty being like, "That's fucking stupid."
Oh, you fucking what?
Kirk, Spock, and Mulhall seem like they all kind of want to do it, but Bones and Scotty are like, no, you probably shouldn't, until they promise. And Scotty turns around on it when Kirk promises that with the new technology from the Super Balls that they'll be able to build starship engines the size of walnuts. At which point I immediately knew like something's going to go wrong here. There's obviously no, I mean, obviously it's an episode of a TV show, so something has to go wrong, but also it's like, we're not going to fucking get that technology. There's no way. Like, there's no way that it's going to turn out that the good thing to do was to let them possess us.
I mean, it probably would have worked out fine, unless one of the three balls.
God, yeah. It's a shame that we chose for one of our balls to be possessed by a guy from the evil side of the planet, I guess. Anyway, Kirk gives a big speech about how risk is their business, and how it's necessary for growth or whatever. I wasn't really following, but it was a good speech, I guess, because everyone agrees, and then they decide to do the thing.
Yeah.
So,
I liked the speech.
I just wasn't really following it. Like it was a well performed speech. I just wasn't like really following what he was saying.
At the core of it, he was like, we're out here to take chances, and I know that sounds really stupid when the thing he's saying we should take a chance on is letting these godlike alien beings take over our brains
just
and
crawl
maybe
inside
kill
our
us.
buttholes, yeah.
Yeah. So that's but he's like, we've come all this way, and it's part of our oath to explore and meet things and take. I don't remember exactly what he was saying, but he was like, fuck you, let's do it. And I was like, yeah, let's do it, Kirk.
Yeah.
I believe you. I trust.
Anyway, so they do it in Medbay back on the Enterprise. So they're doing this. I guess the Enterprise has all the technology needed to make these robot bodies. Spock wakes up first, and he starts immediately flirting with Chapel. He's like, "You're quite a beautiful woman," and she's like, "Oh, Mr. Spock," but not really. Thalassa, the wife, now in Mulhall's body, finds her husband in Kirk's bodies, and they do a lot of light touching and then polite kissing. It's not like violent or gross in the way that so many other kissings in this show have been. It's very much like this is an older couple getting back together in younger bodies kind of vibe, which is correct.
Somebody somewhere said we need Kirk to have a romance that we don't have to worry about next week.
Yeah.
And this episode was born.
Hinoc, like in the background, seems upset by the idea of Thalassa and Sargon these nuts.
Sargon these nuts, yeah.
Kissing, which implied to me, I thought it was going to be a thing of like he's jealous of him, and he kind of is, but that's not really the point.
We don't really get into that.
Yeah, it seems like he probably is, but it turns more into like he just doesn't think that Sargon will allow him to do the things he wants to do, which I guess could include Thalassa, but I don't know. Anyway, Hinoc seems confused because his much better Vulcan body is doing really great, but then the two human bodies start failing almost immediately from the stress, so they vacate back into their balls so that Hinoc can go and make some hypos that will allow them to lower the metabolic rate of the bodies long enough for them to make the robot bodies without killing their hosts.
Sounds legit.
It's a good idea. You know, it makes sense. You got to use protection if you're going to let a guy inside you. That's all I'm saying.
But
Hinoc makes a different formula for Sargon so that he will instead die because he doesn't want to give up Spock's body and live in a robot. He just wants to live in Spock because Spock is like really hot and good at things.
He's
Also, it's
cool.
cool because this is another episode where Spock gets to just like act with emotion because he's a different guy.
Mhm.
So
That is true.
he gets big smiles, and then you get to remember how great Leonard Nimoy's smile is.
This part's funny because Enoch in Spock's body is like, here's one hypo, here's another hypo, here's a poison, and then Nurse Chapel is like, that's different and not gonna what? And he's like, oh, it's meant to kill Captain Kirk so that it'll kill Sargon, and then I get to be this guy forever. And Chapel's just like, what? That's not. And he's like, oh,
Oops.
she's not okay with this. Delete. He just
Yeah.
touches her head and takes away the memory. And he's like, do you remember what we were talking about? She's like, not really. He's like, all right, off you go.
He's like, perfect. This seems to also like put her in a trance for the rest of the episode that he seems to have some level of control over her. It doesn't come up immediately, but it seems to still have some lingering control over her mind.
I don't know if that's true or if she just forgot all the memories of her mother. Like he just took away too much.
It's possible. Um, so they start making the robot bodies, but Enoch comes in to say that they should enjoy life while they have it because the robot bodies won't be able to feel or whatever. Uh,
We're
which might
learning about
be
this
true.
Enoch that he's a textbook oversharer. The second we learn his goals, he's going around being like, "What if we just didn't do your thing, though? What if we just did this
what if
instead?"
you guys got the robot bodies and I got to stay cool?
Well, the joke's gonna really be on him when Spock has his next pawn far.
That's what I'm saying. But Sargon starts feeling tired in Kirk's body, so they go to get their next shot, where Chapel, still seemingly unaware of what's going on with the situation, like kind of lies about the metabolic readings that she must have taken after giving him the first shot. So maybe she's still controlled to some level. I don't know. It doesn't really matter, but I did overthink it. Anyway, she's like, everyone's normal, everyone's great, we're all healthy. And then Enoch convinces Thalassa that keeping the human bodies would be rad. But she doesn't tell him that she agrees. She instead goes to where Kirk Sargon is and tries to convince him by being like, but robots can't hold you close like this. Robot lips can't do this. And to which I was like, Kirk has kissed at least one robot, maybe two already.
Has he?
He kissed the robot that Chapel's fiance had made. And then there were all the
Oh,
robots in what is that? What little girls are made of? And then there were all
right.
the robots in Mud 2 Electric. I made 100 of my wife a lose. And I don't think he kissed any
hmm
of them there, but you could have.
hmm
I'm just saying. We've had robots. All my assumption at this point is that the version of robots that this race knows how to make suck in comparison to those robots.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. And they do specifically say that the bodies that they're building are android bodies, right?
Right.
And I know that we're not there yet technologically, but I'm just saying we flash forward just a wee bit more. Data's got a penis. He's fully functional.
Data's got a penis.
So like Data fucks, dude. That's all I gotta say. So like I don't know. This what's this guy's name?
Sargon?
No, the other one, the evil one. Hec,
Heckock.
hexagon.
Hexagon.
Hector. Uh
It's Enoch.
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 He just needs to open his mind a little bit. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Open his mind. Get inside that robot butt. Unfortunately, at this exact moment, Sargon just kind of dies in Kirk's
Oh,
body. But the
he's
body was, I guess, too far away to transfer back into the ball, which leaves Kirk in a vegetative state and Sargon
I
dead.
want to. We get a classic. Bones says he's dead, and when he said he's dead, I said he's dead at the same exact time. Like I called it. I
It's pretty good.
was like, boom. And then I wrote in my notes, "Show's over. He's dead. Kurt, we lost him."
But then Bone says that they can keep the body alive for a month or so. To which I was like, this seems backwards, right? Because the mind inside him wouldn't have died from the metabolic rate being too high, right? It would have killed the body.
Yes,
So
you
the
would think
body
so.
should be dead and both minds should be alive. But what it turns out to be is like the body's okay, but they can only keep it alive for a month. Sargon's mind is presumed dead, and Kirk's mind is still alive, but it's inside the ball because they like swaps plates.
Yeah. but I mean, spoilers, getting ahead, but Sargon's not dead.
No.
So what did the thing do? What did the shot do?
I believe it actually didn't do much of anything, and then Sargon vacated the body as a ruse.
So did Chapel fuck with it, we think?
No, I maybe Sargon did. I don't know. It's never explained, but a Chapel is clearly like not aware what's going on.
Because I don't know. You're right. It should have killed the body, but then I don't know. That's for the sake of moving on. We just
Yeah.
have to move on.
Meanwhile, back in engineering, I assume is where they're making the bodies, the robot bodies. Thalassa and Enoch are working to make their robot bodies, but it's a gross and slimy, hairless, like man body. So when Enoch says, "All right, get in," Thalassa's like, "No thanks,"
Yeah, not feeling that.
and goes to try and convince Bones for some reason to let her keep Mulhall's body. And he's like, "No, dude, like
Well,
you."
no.
I know,
That's...
and she tries to convince him by being like, "You don't know her," and he's like, "Yeah, but like, you can't just have her."
I don't know my neighbor, but if they died, I'd probably call the police.
I mean, Jesus. And so she's like, I can just take what I want, and she starts using her god powers to hurt him, and then she feels bad about it, and she's like, "No, this is terrible. I shouldn't be doing this."
She throws a full-on crazy tantrum, and then it's just like, I'm sorry, I'll stop. Like, this is... No, you were bad, and I don't want to help you anymore.
She does say a thing that's like, "Oh, the temptations of a flesh body are too much," or something, which makes me... I don't fucking know. I think what they're trying to say is like, humans are imperfect, and because they're in a human, it's not... I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Either way, she feels bad about it, and then Sargon's like, comes over through his ghost voice shit, and he's like, "I'm glad you figured it out on your own, my wife. Now I can let you in on my evil ruse about, or not evil, my secret ruse of not being dead."
It could be an evil ruse. We don't know what side of that war was right.
That's true. That is true. It turns out that Sargon is alive. Woo!
Yay.
And that they have to do something to stop Enoch. So Bones, for whatever reason, goes to his study. I don't remember why, and starts hearing explosions. And then Chapel walks through the door looking really suspicious. And when Bones goes back into medical, he finds all three of the balls melted, Kirk and Mulhall back in their bodies, and Kirk saying, "Spock's dead, dude. Now we got to make a super poison to kill his body."
We're just going. We
And
can't stop now.
Bones is just like, What? That's your best friend and a main officer on the show. Like, what do you mean?" And he's like, "I don't like it, but we got to kill him, I guess." Bones doesn't really fight much, I guess. He's not happy about it, but he doesn't come up with a better solution, I guess. So they go to the bridge where Hura is screaming in pain because I guess Enoch is using his brain powers to shake her like a dog.
This is another really wacky cut. We just straight cut, and then Uhura's just mid-scream, and then just kind of falls over dead. Not really dead, but kind of dead.
It's like, exhausted at least. And then Mulhall, Kirk, and Bones walk into the room, and Enoch in Spock's body just says, like, "Pain, Kirk, pain, Mulhall." And they both just, like, collapse in pain.
There you go.
But then Chapel walks over and just hits him with the poison hypo, which seems to surprise him. I guess he wasn't bothering to read her mind because he thought he like had a lock on her or something.
Well, I think as we're about to learn the twist with her mind, I think it was Vulcan Spock. You can't. I'm gonna be very calm.
Sure,
there. You know what I mean?
Sure. Cause yeah, he's like, he starts freaking out, and he's like, "I'm just gonna jump into a different body." But then Sargon, using his ghost powers that never really explained, is like stops him from doing so, I guess. So he dies instead, and then it turns out that Spock and Chapel's brains are both inside Chapel's bodies. They shared a consciousness for a while, which seems romantic. But they move Spock back into his body. Everyone's back in their own body. Sargon and Thalassa are ghost voices floating around. And he's like, "Hey, we're going to die now. Can we have like 1 second back in your bodies to make out?"
One last fuck.
And then Kirk and Mulhall are like, "Hey, man, sure." And they make out, and everyone thinks it's really romantic. And I was like, it's a little weird, but I get it. And then the episode ends.
Yeah, it sure does.
Hey man, what's up? You guys have trivia?
We're about how George Takei's back. That's good.
Pretty good
Um,
for like 1 second, but yeah, he's back.
as a lieutenant commander, Anne Mulhall has the distinction of being the highest-ranking female Starfleet officer in the original series.
Oh, interesting.
And the voice of Sargon was James Doohan. Every time there's a voice on a radio or some random thing, it's James Doohan.
That's crazy. So is he putting on the accent, or is he taking off the accent?
No, he's taking off the accent. Yeah, that's his accent 100%.
Okay. Okay. Anything
That's
else?
all I got. That's it for this one.
Well, then I guess all there is left to do is rate it.
Yeah, you would think so. This is a middle of the road episode.
It's a tough one. It's a real tough one.
This is not the worst thing. I think Private Little War might be my least favorite we've watched all season 2.
I'd
so
have to
far.
look at it, but it's definitely low.
So the bottom ones on season 2, I've got like Cat's Paw and Obsession. I think it's lower than both of those, even though I didn't like Obsession either.
Yeah.
Um,
Another one where the ending was really bad.
this one, Turn Tomorrow, is in the middle. I'm gonna say Engage,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
even though I don't owe this episode anything.
No.
But
Yeah.
but there was that part where he said, "Probes have touched me, Mr. Spock," and that's good. I like that, and that's worth keeping this episode for.
I'll also give this an Engage. I think it's a good idea, and I think it just feels like they're kind of going through it in a weird pace.
Yeah.
Where they don't really tackle the parts of it that I think are interesting.
You know what it is I think I'm with this episode for the first half. And then I think the climax of the good of this episode is Kirk's speech of like, here's why we're going to help. And then everything after that is like, huh? What? Who? Okay, it's over.
Yeah. I mean, I do like the plot of Thalassa and Sargon, like, as these, like, entities, these, like, spirits making the choice of, like, sacrificing themselves for the greater good. I think that that's really interesting, and I do like those characters well enough, I guess. But, yeah, it is, like, because it is one episode of a TV show, it is like we're getting through a lot of subject matter really fast, and we're just not really taking the time that we probably should with some of these subjects. And so, yeah, it just doesn't really work out for me. But I think, yeah, it's going to be an Engage, just like a really weak one.
Yeah, I agree.
So, anyway, that's our 2 episodes for the week. I hope that you guys enjoyed these episodes at least as much, hopefully maybe a little bit more than we did.
It was kind of a weak showing, but certainly not the worst double feature we've done. It couldn't be.
Probably not. Probably not. Although you did say that one of them was the worst episode of the season, so maybe one of the worst double features in a minute.
Maybe.
Either way, you can leave a comment about which of these episodes you think is ass or great in the comments on Spotify and YouTube. Those are the 2 places we are. And we'd love to see you in both places. If you're only in one, why are you doing that? You could be in both. Why not? You're a talented person, man, woman, or child. You could be in both places at once. You can follow the show on Twitter at rsr_pod. You can follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky at Daniel J. McGee.
You follow me on Blue Sky at Skylar8bit.
And until next time, everybody, let's see what's out there.
The game's just starting, the world's so bright. Jump right in, everything feels right.